Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the playoff edition, week 2 of the Commissioner's Corner. As you can see today, we're coming from a vertical wide screen. It's actually, I guess, it'd be called a narrow screen. Waka. Anyway, coming to you live from the house again because I figure why start doing that at the good podcast set studio now since we're almost done with the year. So the playoff week is in the books, and what a week it was. Oh my God. Got a few notes I'm going to start off with, but my goodness, in the 5 years I've done this, was probably the most exhilarating week of football I've ever experienced. And why is that? Well, let's take a look. We're going to break down a couple of things. We're going to look at last week's games, look ahead of next week's games, and also just look at the league as a whole. Also break down payouts because I think I've got everything calculated properly. When you manage a league this size and you have people that have been in as long as they have, sometimes things get a little, floaty, if you want to call it that. But everything looks good this year so far. So here we go. Now, first of all, I'm just going to say this site kind of sucks when it comes to the playoff situation. I don't know why this gain's so low on this thing, but I had to have it like basically in my mouth to hear my headset. Yeah, the site sucks for playoffs, so it's very difficult to find the playoffs. Luckily, I did put on the main page here the brackets here, okay? So we're going to go over what happened last week, or this week, I should say. Team Major Key, who had won his division 2 weeks prior to the playoffs starting, basically benched his players for 2 weeks in a row. And you'd think that would have ended well for him, but it did not, unfortunately. As Cheechki, perennial playoff owner, comes in and just manhandles Cody Cole's team. Cody Cole, one of the people that still owes us money, by the way. I'm going to publicly put it out there. 82.85 to 54.93 points. Cheechki moves on. His prize is he gets to play the number 1 seed in the entire tournament. Now you see me, now you don't. Ryan Frazier's team. But both great owners. That's going to be the matchup to watch next week, I promise you. Going down here, the Brutal Broncos, who squeaked into the playoffs, was pretty much manhandled by the Honolulu Blue Balls. Larry Weinberg, he even put a picture of a bear punching another bear in the nuts, saying, Blue Bears move on, or whatever it was. I don't know, that was last week, maybe it was. Then, in what could be the ultimate travesty, Wally, who had his division wrapped up several weeks in advance, this is why you don't rest your players, I guess, Waka, loses to Uncle Rico, the number 25 seed. 25 seed comes and shocks the world. And, sent Wally packing to outer space, 64.98 to 50.56. Low-scoring affair there, but it's enough for Uncle Rico to get the win. Not so low-scoring. My personal team, the Providence Power, defeated the Monsters of the Midway, as they should have based on the seeding, number 13 versus number 20, 84.86 to 62.21. Frankly, I was surprised Monsters of the Midway put up such a crappy fight. Even the number 1 team in the nation for a long time. But it doesn't mean much once the playoffs are. That's what I'm saying. This is the NCAA tournament right here, folks. I liken this league a lot to that because, yes, this kid's crawling back here. I have my son here. He's going to be crawling back and forth. If you know a lot about football, you have an advantage, yes. But in the end, there's a little bit of luck involved. In fact, quite a bit of luck involved. And once you get in the playoffs especially, you can have someone like Carson Wentz. Like, oh, man, Carson Wentz, haven't used him yet. I'm going to use him in the playoffs and just slay it. And then he just drops a huge turd in the week and just screwed a lot of people this week. So we'll talk about my game next week here in a minute. And then in a battle of two perennial, well, not perennial, but pretty close, semi-perennial, I don't know if that's even a word, playoff owners, 52 Shades of Clay, defeated New Orleans Rock Chuck, sending Aaron King's negative ass home packing. I bet you he's complaining about it somewhere. He's complaining about something, I guarantee you. What's up? Come on up here. Oh, my God. Mom's supposed to be watching this kid, and she's doing a fantastic job, as you can see. Hey, all right. So, sorry about the blurriness. 52 Shades of Clay moves on. And then another huge game. Friday Night Tights, the number 5 seed, loses to Is That Your Final Answer, my wife's team. Pretty convincing fashion, 89.13 to 56.16. Friday Night Tights, Melissa Garrity, one of the best owners we have, and she just missed the bye. Gets bounced in the first seed to one of the random cards. Are you kidding me? My wife's team has basically no one left to play. She threw whatever she could at him, and it worked. 89.13 points. Congratulations to Cassandra Seagraves. Moving on. Next game, Hold My Dak, number 15 seed, defeated, bring back the butt fumble. Tom Farmer is in more trouble than Big Country down there. 86.96 to 65.93. Man, Tom Farmer, great owner. See you later. Out of here. Hold My Dak moves on to face the Brady's Balls next week. We'll talk about that in a second. This right here, folks, this was insanity right here. I'm watching this game because my dad, I root for him all the time. I'm watching this game, and I'm looking here. I'm like, holy crap. This came down to tight end versus tight end. The Browns, whoever the Browns are playing, versus the Cardinals tight end. And it came down to, okay, well, the Browns game finished. So this Cardinals tight end, I forget who it is, honestly. Stop playing with me, please. He needed a catch for I think 9 yards. I was like, holy crap, Dad. I called him up. I was like, dude, it's tight end versus tight end. Your tight end finally finishes. Call him when his tight end game is done. I'm like, yo, man, if this Arizona Kai catches a pass, I think it was maybe 12 yards, something like that, you're going to lose. One catch for 12 yards is all he needed. And the worst part is he got the catch, but it was for 9 yards. The dude loses by a 1/10 of a point. Ouch. He certainly is not giggling about that, I can assure you. Giggle loses by a 1/10 of a point to Squadrels. Moving on. Almost. Look at how close these games are, folks. Right here. I'm looking right here. The Black Hole, 7 seed, Rob Bradley, fantastic owner. Love the man. Kikambas, 26 seed, beats him by about a half a point. So you're talking less than, basically barely more than a point for both of these, or half a point for both of these games. Kikambas squeaks by the Black Hole just barely. Going down here, password is Taco, making sure that the Garrity's Christmas is going to have a big old lump of coal as they beat Old Papa's Playas quite handily, 82 to 52, sending Old Papa's Playas, which I believe was a Final Four team last year. If not, he was a Elite 8 team, sending them packing. Then we get down here, getting Schneidered, crushes 2 years ago's champion Brady O'Bush, Ashley Cromwell. She was not the belle of this ball as she loses 92 to 60.93. Good luck, Tom Schneider, moving on. And then in another super close game, Sag Nasty's notch above top notch, proving their win streak towards the end of the year was not a fluke, beating the other wild card team barely. Craig Monahan's team, 70.38 points. Fantastic performance. Super close to moving in and pulling the upset, but not quite good enough, I'm afraid. So, that's the regular bracket. Let's move down here to the SUK bracket. Not going to go, look at this. Okay, now you look at these scores, you're like, oh my God, Gamers versus Gregory Clegane, 118 and 112. Let me tell you how this happened, okay? Oviedo Honey Badgers has a bye. Okay, right here, there's these guys. They deserve that bye. They had a great year. They get a bye in this SUK bracket. The winner of this gets free entry next year, by the way. Both Gamers and Gregory Clegane didn't submit a lineup. Why? Do they suck? Yes. Is it fair? I made a statement saying that I was not going to randomize teams that didn't care enough to submit a lineup in these playoffs. Kid just vomited on me. That's fun. But when neither team submits a lineup, I cannot, in my own good conscience, for the integrity of the league, let Oviedo just have a bye 2 weeks in a row. It's not fair to the rest of you. So what I did was to penalize. I want to penalize these punks who do not submit a lineup this week. So what I did was I submitted a lineup for both of these teams who, was 0-0 basically. But I used the best players possible. Best players possible. So should Gamers or Gregory Clegane get online this week, they will see that some of their best players that they were using, that they had held on to, were used last week as punishment for not submitting a lineup. That's why those scores are so high, because I use super lineups. So that way if they get out, I'm like, oh, shit. Well, at least I'm still in the league. Now, in next week, it will be a regular randomizer, Gamers versus Oviedo Honey Badgers. I promise you. So, because I did not want a team to have 2 buys in a row. That's not really fair. Most other cases, that's not the case. I mean, if you're just playing a person who's been a lap, sure, you'll get a buy, but then the next week you have to play someone. Now, in this case, Gamers, whatever. I'm gonna randomize them next week if they don't. I'll send the guy a message. Going down here, not that this is all that important, really, but looking here, had a lot of people didn't submit lineups. Bitch is back, fresh off that amazing comeback at the end of the year. Didn't submit a lineup, really pisses me off. And then, yeah, Tenacious D, huge game, 97 points. This isn't all that important, but wanted to at least cover it, especially for next week's games. So, hey, will you get this kid, please? He's struggling all over the place here. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. Rah! Look at him. Hey, who's that boy? Who's that boy? Ooh, that boy. Ooh, that boy. Ooh, that boy. All right. So, going on the SUK bracket next week. Gamers taking on Oviedo Honey Badgers. Hernandez Hitman conservatism is a new counterculture. Steel City Sackers versus Super Original. Dublin Drunks versus Yeti Express. That's a game to watch. Team has new name versus Tallywhackers. Sandbaggers versus the Wyans. Good job to the Wyans for actually submitting a lineup this week. Tenacious D versus Beast Mode. And the new Sheriffs taking on Trump Up the Volume. I believe that is Steve Garrity. So there is one Garrity left in this league here. There's still hope. But then what we really want to talk about in next week's actual playoff games. Cheechki, one of the Harris kids. Insert Columbine joke here. I won't do it. Cheechki versus Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Probably the marquee matchup of the weekend, I'm guessing. Honolulu Blue Balls versus Uncle Rico. Pat Provost has proven to be a great owner, even though he was 6-6 in the regular year. He did make it in based on merit. I believe it was points for him. Congratulations to you. Taking on Larry Weinberg. That's going to be a good game. I think it really will be. Providence Power taking on Granny's Baloney Curtains. Cody Provost, relation, yes, to Pat. That one, I'm not looking very optimistic, to be honest with you, because I've used pretty much everyone. And a Battle of the Wives for the third time this season. 52 Shades of Clay taking on Is That Your Final Answer? They split the season series. But very important to know that 52 Shades of Clay did not even play one of those games because she'd already had the division wrapped up, didn't want to waste her players. So, will the hot streak continue for Cassandra's team? We'll see. Very excited to see how that one goes. Hold My Dak, which is Corey Dull, taking on Brady's Balls, Roger Brewer. Brady's Balls, another one of the teams that had a bye, won their conference, coming back straight up against Hold My Dak, who had 86 points last week and defeated Tom Farmer. So, that'll be good. And a matchup of the super close games last week. Squadrels taking on Cucumbas. Both went 7-5 regular season. Both won their game by less than a half a point last week. FarmersOnly.com. Tom Farmer, still keeping the Farmer family alive here. Taking on Password is Taco. Dom Valenti, not to be confused with Dominic Valentine or what's the other one? Dominic. I know like 3 different people with the same name, basically. Password is Taco, taking on FarmersOnly.com. And then Getting Schneidered, taking on Sag Nasty's Notch Above Top Notch. And then that's, I don't know, both of those teams had great games last week. Getting Schneidered scored 92, Sag Nasty 75. So, other thing a lot of people have been talking about is how payouts work. What? Yeah, no, that's not how it works. So, basically, here's how it's going to work this year, okay? If you make it to the Final Four, you're guaranteed $100, okay? The top 4 teams will get $100, and basically how you do from there depends how much money you get. If you lose in the Final Four, there will be a third-place consolation game where the winner of that game will get an extra $50. So third place will get $150, fourth place will get $100. And then if you win those Final Four games, though, you get into the championship match where the winner will get $750. The loser of that will get $300. So basically an extra $200 versus what you would get from the Final Four. Now, when you add the math up, that basically counts for the site, as well as a couple of the free people who won one entry. And then we still have to collect money from a few people. We figure that into the budget here. Not big on that, but you know, they're the people that we've known so long, and one of them had some extenuating circumstances, but he's a great owner, so we're giving him some time to pay. So, but yeah, that's what we're looking at. So $750, $300, $150, and $100 totals out to $1,300. When you factor in the site cost, which is 120, plus a few other people who won the playoff challenge and whatnot, I mean we're only a few bucks short. Hopefully we'll get that money, but we're planning on we're if those prices might even just go up, I guess basically. So that's how that works. And well, sorry this podcast took so long, but I'm still overcoming the worst illness I've had in a long time. Can't sleep at all, coughing all night. It's terrible. Now my baby has it too, which is the worst thing. Although I thought he gave me the sickness originally. So it's weird that now he's coughing. I don't know. Something fishy's going on. All right. Good luck, everyone. Don't forget to submit your lineups. Thursday night, there's a game. Doubt people will submit lineups for that. Most people don't. But and then I'll be back, hopefully Tuesday morning, with the latest recap. Maybe even Sunday night with the nightly breakdown recap. You want to know what a recap is? It's when you talk about what happens to Rey in The Last Jedi.